The document was supported by deputies of the factions of the BPP, the Popular Front, Samopomich, Batkivschyna, and the Radical Party, and most of the individual and the group Will of the People. Opposed by the faction Opposition Bloc. The draft amendments to the constitution filed in September 2018 President Petro Poroshenko. He was in parliament during the vote on Thursday and urged deputies to support the project. MPs who supported the amendment acknowledged that it may be part of the presidential campaign but agreed on the importance of such a step. September 20, the Verkhovna Rada has included the document in the agenda and sent to the output to the Constitutional Court. On 22 November, deputies approved the amendments on first reading and had to wait for the beginning of a new session for final approval. The amendment of the Constitution does not mean a speedy entry into NATO or the European Union, but still need to fulfill many conditions and to undertake the necessary reforms. Also on 7 February, the Verkhovna Rada adopted an appeal to the leaders and parliaments of the member states of NATO, the North Atlantic Council and NATO Parliamentary Assembly with a request to grant Ukraine the action plan on membership at the Alliance's summit in London in December 2019. Petro Poroshenko promises that if elected president only at the end of his second term the Ukraine could become a candidate member of the UN to Action Plan on membership in NATO. Another innovation is to remove from the transitional provisions of paragraph 14 of the interim use of existing military bases for foreign forces on loan. Affirming the European identity of the Ukrainian people and the irreversibility of the European and Euro-Atlantic course of Ukraine, stated in the preamble to the Constitution. The article about the powers of the Verkhovna Rada, the determination of principles of domestic and foreign policy, added the wording, the implementation of the strategic course of the state for the acquisition of full membership of Ukraine in the European Union and the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. The initiative of the president explained the reluctance to allow a rematch. To the next, perhaps more pro-Russian government failed to back the integration into the EU and NATO. After all, to find 300 votes will be difficult. Announcing this initiative, 24 August 2018, Petro Poroshenko said that there is a clear threat to the revision of the European and Euro-Atlantic strategy under the influence of various external and internal circumstances. In the explanatory note to the draft law, the president recalled that an attempt by Viktor Yanukovych to abandon the European exchange rate called the Revolution of Dignity. If to consolidate the European and Euro-Atlantic integration in the Constitution, then, they say, even a new president and parliament, such as foreign policy, as happened in 2010 for Yanukovych, I can't. Against the constitutional consolidation of the movement in NATO in the parliament clearly made only by the representatives of the faction, Opposition Bloc, and the Opposition for Life. And again, all parties except the opposition platform, as the sociologists meant the party after the split in the Opposition Bloc, significantly more supporters advocate NATO than against. So with the voters of other pro-European factions who are refusing to vote for these changes could do more than support a pre-election initiative of the president. But the head of the faction, the Opposition Bloc, Vadim Novinsky, says that none of us in these unions don't expect. He insists that the subject of the EU and NATO still divides Ukraine. In August 2018, the Fund, Democratic Initiatives, Emilka Kucharev and the Kiev International Institute of Sociology interviewed people about their motivation to support or not support NATO membership. Other pros: NATO membership will enable Ukraine to resist Russian aggression and to return the occupied territories, and will strengthen and modernize the Ukrainian army. Opposition to the idea of membership in the alliance due to the perception of NATO as an aggressive imperialist bloc, and the belief that Ukraine should in principle be non-aligned, added the sociologists. Only 19% of respondents gave the correct answer, that decisions in NATO are taken by consensus, when I agree with them all the countries members of NATO. But, the most popular answer is, majority of votes, 22% compared with 34% in June 2017. Another 14% believe that decisions are old NATO members and newbies, not yet, explain the authors.